Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. It's Friday morning. You're here with the Kaiser Report. Kaiser and I are coming to you today with a small broadcast that will hold us through the weekend, I'm hoping. And as I promised, we'll talk a little bit about where in the heck Zelensky rose to power from and how it happened. And then before that, I'd like you to take a small look right here at what is, in my mind, a wonderful, wonderful little boy.
Such an honor to have met you.
Hold up, I got one more thing to say.
He has one more thing to say. I won't interrupt you.
If you're a Democrat and you're being mean to President Trump, I'm on your bumper.
You couldn't pay me to be a liberal again. You couldn't do it. After watching that speech, I am convinced that Democrats hate America. The way that they didn't stand for Laken Riley's mother, the way that they didn't stand for that little boy who has brain cancer, the way that they didn't stand for that young man who got accepted into West Point. Are you with me on this? The way that they hate America.
Isn't that something, that he can go out at 13 and act more like an adult than anyone on the entire Democratic aisle during the night of the Trump speech? It is almost incredible how they react with this Trump derangement syndrome in front of not only our American people, but the entire world. And now we're walking into what could be a small trap going over to Saudi Arabia. I'm glad the president will not be in attendance there. I think that Rubio is very well capable with the other people on his cabinet there, or his help, to figure out what's on little Zelensky's mind one more time. He had a perfect opportunity here, right here in the nation's capital, to put this thing to bed. But this is where it gets almost unbelievably bizarre. It's incredible that what has taken place, and for how many years, the loss of life and the loss of human dignity, and cities have been destroyed during this. So where did Zelensky come from? In 2015, Zelensky starred in a play called, or a TV show called, The Servant of the People. He was there for 3 years while Vladimir Zelensky had been America's darling in khaki-clad symbol of defiance, pleading for billions of dollars in aid, and Ukraine itself, Ukraine inflicted upon itself their own war, in my estimation. Too many well-meaning Americans saw him as a hero battling overwhelming odds. The story starts and ends, but it continues. Behind the curated image lies a far uglier truth. A stooge comedian turned president, propped up by criminal oligarchs, surrounded by cronies, and presiding over a regime of corruption, repression, and broken promises. This is the real Zelensky, an actor playing a role he's woefully unfit for, and has been unfit for, evidenced in the Oval Office. The story starts not in politics, but in comedy. And he co-founded a studio called, it's a Karevi Rye. I may be mispronouncing that. He co-founded that studio in 95, and in the 1990s, with a group of his friends that had hit the big time by the 2000s. Ironically, their big breaks were made in Russia, performing in Russian and focusing on Russia and the Ukraine political and cultural styles. The key to his success, E.R. Kolomoisky, a billionaire Ukraine oligarch with a laundry list of crimes including fraud, money laundering, and brutal violence, Kolomoisky then owned 1+1, the TV network that handled Zelensky's Kartabal 95 on a national platform starting in 2012. He didn't just offer airtime, he bankrolled Zelensky with cash, security, and legal and criminal muscle. This wasn't a mentorship, it was a transaction Kolomoisky later sanctioned by the U.S. for significant corruption. They saw Zelensky as a pawn in his game by 2019. When Zelensky ran for president, Kolomoisky DNA was all over the campaign, providing vehicles, lawyers, bodyguards, and a media blitz. And Zelensky was never an outsider. He was a made man, to put it in the vernacular of the old mob. He hit a satire air show, the Kolomoisky 1+1 channel, where he played a teacher in a president railing against corruption. That's just a small look at what we have to go deal with right now with regard to getting this war finished off and over with. And I am happy that we are entering into these negotiations, but I believe we have to stay very, very focused on what comes next with Mr. Zelensky. He's not at all someone that is this innocent little guy running around dressed up in a self-designed army uniform with a dirty sweatshirt. When he goes and meets with Soros's people and gets his dollars there, he shows up in a white shirt and a tie and a jacket. Why was it not necessary for him to treat our President of the United States and us watching with a little respect? I know in these days people don't dress anymore. They don't feel they have to dress anymore. But it is common courtesy, especially when you're in a place as historic as the White House is in this country. So Zelensky was running in 2019 and promised the end of corruption in the Donbass Civil War, which had erupted after CIA-backed Maiden Group, winning in a landslide thanks to Kolomoisky's media machine. An actor who played a president on TV was now remarkably in the real job. Zelensky didn't waste any time handling power to his showbiz pals. Ivan Bankanov and Karvatel, 95, co-founder, became a head of the SBU security service with no experience. Shirley Schaefer, another comedy crony, took a top aide role, no experience. And then there's Androv Yermak, and I apologize for the pronunciation of some of these names, a film producer turned Zelensky's right-hand man, now head of the presidential office, dubbed the Ukraine shadow president. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like what some of the dummies on the Democratic aisle are yelling about Elon Musk being a shadow president? I think they ought to take a look at where they sent several $1 trillion of aid to then. So Yermak physically and intellectually towering over Zelensky at every point of turn. Controls, policy, and access were all controlled by him. A fixer, nothing more than a fixer. It's unbelievable. It gets better and better. Running the show while the president floundered during the first days of the war. These weren't appointments based on merit. They were loyalty hires that Carvitel 95 clique, utterly unfit and grossly dysfunctional for a war-torn nation to be under that control. Zelensky is a laughable anti-corruption pledge that meets reality in 2021 when the Pandora Papers, the leak revealed he and his inner circle, including Bakharov, were funneling cash to Kolmaninsky, with the Zelensky slashing millions offshore and stashing away even more. Zelensky swore to end the corruption in the Donbass war. Instead, he delivered more of both. A million lives are dead, and for the free media crushed, billions stolen, languages and religions banned, and the criminal is no hero, no Churchill, and no friend of America. He should be treated accordingly, but we have not done that through our sitting at the time Chucky the Clown Schumer, who pushed every dollar he could from our coffers into Zelensky's hands with no guarantees of any return. It is crazy. Crazy. But that's a little bit about Vladimir Zelensky, just in case you were wondering about that poor little man that gets off the airplane and goes to the White House in a dirty sweatshirt and insults the Vice President of the United States and the President of the United States and the entire cabinet that sat there. And he did it cajoled to do this by Chuck Schumer and several other Democrats that were in the private meeting with him before the Oval Office meeting, and made sure that the press was present so they could run their propaganda narrative to get him even more money than has been lost and stolen by he and his appointed cabinet of comedians. It's unbelievable, but yet there it is. Well, we'll see what takes place in Saudi Arabia and how much of a brokered deal that we can come up with that maybe will bring peace to the Ukraine and the Russian war that is escalating right now, because he can't keep his fingers from sending in drones and other things to aggravate and poke a stick one more time at Vladimir Putin so he can get some more aid out of Europe. And my God, Macron coming out with the fact that he's going to back them with nuclear weapons, that is garnered already a answer from Russia, and it wasn't good. And they basically told him, be careful, be very careful what you're doing with nuclear weapons in Iran and Ukraine. That is just pouring salt on a wound and then adding lemon juice to wash it away. This is not a good situation. Donald Trump has his wits about him and is understanding what needs to take place And I don't think he really cares about signing a mineral agreement any longer, and nor should we. If they offer it, we should take it. However, if you look at the overall cost of opening mines that have been closed or not started or half started, there's a lot of money going to be needed to adjust for that. And we have our own minerals here. Alaska is full of minerals that are there, and we don't need to depend or rely on anyone such as Zelensky for anything. And if Donald Trump is smart, he's already talked to Putin probably about getting some of their plentiful rare earth minerals, and we can do a deal. We have a president that is the art of the deal. He knows how to negotiate. These Democrats have no clue of what they're saying or doing, and their answer to that is to go out and make jackasses out of themselves in public now with these little itsy-bitsy dances that they're doing now. Fight, fight, fight. I think they're trying to imitate the Trump dance, to tell you the truth. It's stupid. Whoever they hired as a PR agent to do this, and Cory Booker is supposedly the one running it, is they're idiots. What are they fighting for? All they're telling you is they're going to continue to fight against everything that is happening to bring this country back around and upright what has been upside down for 4.5 years. It's ridiculous to think anything else. And for that display, that third grade show that they put on during the State of the Union, and I don't care, don't send me another note that says it's not the State of the Union, it was blah, blah, blah. To me, it was a State of the Union and probably one of the better ones we've had in a long time. But we have these jackasses that are making stupid fools out of themselves, and who do they put up to do it? It's not the deep state guys that are back there coming up with all this stuff. They throw somebody like Jasmine Crockett out there to take the slings and arrows when it goes haywire. And all of the underlings that really don't mean anything to their own party. Their own party is a very selfish bunch of individuals that just found a spot in life where they can get money for nothing and drinks for free. And this is what they're up to in the higher echelon of what's left of the Democratic Party. And then they throw these newbies out like this Crockett woman to take the heat. And AOC and everybody else. And oh, by the way, this dancing thing for the fight, why the hell is she in a bordello doing it? That room looks like a bordello. But not that I would know personally, but I've been around the world several times, and I have seen more than I'd like to tell you. But anyway, take a look here.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was.
Who is that girl?
He's spewing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't. You know, we showed up. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense.
But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire, and you're the one that I believe should take my seat, I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that.
I don't know.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the I'm ready to get on with it.
Girl, you nasty.
You know, the congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat. And I was just starting to get into the rhythm of doing constituent services and things like that.
If you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Thanks one to no one.
Jasmine Crockett is the up-and-coming person for them to use, stick out there with Maxine Waters and the like, and make jackasses out of themselves while not knowing they're doing it. They have a smile on their face because they have been promised in the back room bigger and better things are coming your way. Well, they're going to have a tough time bringing anybody up front to be involved in this next election that will loom. And what they have done to their chances right now, unless they change tomorrow, is they just completely blew the midterm elections. In my mind, they don't have a chance, and they shouldn't. But anyway, it's Friday here. We'll see what happens for the rest of the day. The stock market bounced back just a little bit, and if you're using that as a barometer for the experience that is being shown in the new cabinet in the White House, it's not related in any fashion. The job numbers were okay, and the clean out is bringing new life to a lot of things. It is springtime, and now we have to be patient, wait for the April rains, and watch everything grow, and grow fast all summer long with changes that will be most beneficial to you and me and anyone else that are tax-paying citizens of this country. We will benefit from these changes, and do not let this media propaganda bunch turn you or make you worry, because they are spreaders of fear. There will always be something for you to be afraid of when you listen to mainstream legacy media. This platform has a lot of good, influential people that are learned people and will tell you what you need to hear. Not to say that there isn't some on this platform and others that go along with the big lie. Right now, the Democratic Party, hands down, is the big lie. And big lies are soon found out, and we are all going to be fine come this summer and the turn of events, the new factory openings, the job availabilities, everything will come into line, and by next fall, I think you'll see a lot of smiles and a lot of happiness on people's faces every day. But we do need to take the criminal element that snuck in here and get it the heck out. And remember, we're all God's children, so do not let the media divide you by color, by religion, or anything to do with division. We're going to say our hands are clean of that, and we're going to respect each other one more time. Let's not follow the clown show, what is the Democratic Party. They're losing, and they're losing on a daily basis, and their fixes are making them lose worse, but they're too stupid to understand that. So That's the Friday report from the Kaiser Report, and I wish you all a very happy weekend, and have some fun this coming weekend. Do something great related with family. Set the dinner table, and all sit down together for food, and that will nourish your brain, your body, and also, as you sit at that table, give thanks for all we have to God and praise the Lord for his help in bringing back this country to the greatest country in the world, and one that will even be greater by next year. God bless and take care. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for further commentary. Bye-bye now. Happy weekend, and we love you.